I recreated the entire rec center in LEGO Worlds. I took some measurements in the real rec center, and I prepared an area where to build. I started placing some blocks down to sort of figure out the scale of things, like the steps of the stairs, to know how many to make and how big. Compared to the dorm room, the rec center has lots of different areas and many round or slanted parts. For the wooden beams, I thought of using these round blocks, but just like many other things, I was gonna change my mind later after. It was starting to take shape, but I was feeling a bit overwhelmed by the scale of the project and the limits of the game. So I shot some plans to relieve the frustration. The only double doors in this game that might resemble the classic Rec Room doors are these white hospital doors. So I chose to use them, thinking I was gonna keep them. The room above the entrance has a couple of walls that are 45 degrees to the room. I used these flat 4x4 corner blocks. A little bit large, but here I had enough space to afford using them. I was initially gonna build the entire rec center before coloring anything, but I believe that using colored blocks from the start helped with the scale and the proportions. Speaking of the limits of this game, blocks can only be rotated around the y-axis. That means that I couldn't use the round blocks for the horizontal wooden beams. This was definitely a factor that led to some changes. LEGO blocks are the same color on every side. If I wanted to have a wall that's two different colors, I had to make it 2 layers thick. That wasn't a big deal, at least not for the straight walls. The roof of this room also has some sloped parts. In the corners, I had to take some unhappy decisions. I then started building the basketball area and the stairs close to it, to distance myself from what I had been building for hours. Then the cafeteria. I initially used these bricked blocks for the wall, but since the current rec center doesn't have that kind of pattern, I later switched to plain blocks. Orange, a nice change from the white and blue walls I had made to that point. More slanted walls, my favorite. Yeah, let's spend as much time as possible to make sure that this door is well centered between these two beams. More beams that I considered building with a 1x2 palisade bricks, but then changed my mind, and then changed it again. I then moved to the mirror area and used these beautiful bricks for the walls. Despite wanting to keep decorations for last, I tried to make some lights to illuminate the area. This game is very dark when it comes to building. The night comes pretty fast, ceilings and walls cover any sort of natural light, and the range of emissive bricks is relatively short. Curtains were pretty fun to make. I would later recolor some of the blocks for more contrast. I like this door in the area above the cafeteria, even though it looked nothing like the original one. I wonder if I'm gonna keep it. The wall in the cafeteria is supposed to be round. I tried to make it as round as possible. The balcony was more straightforward. I then made more walls, roofs, and windows, and started working on the shop, storage room, whatever this thing is. At some point it was getting so dark that I had to change the brightness of the game. I could see a little better at the expense of colors, and going outside was like getting flashbanged. This part was probably my favorite at this point. I decided to rework the wall in the cafeteria, and the door. Then I started placing some red bricks on the outside. Until I realized something, and it was while looking at this wall. I was pretty sure it was missing something, and then it hit me. There should be an exit here to reach the backyard. I was using an older version of the rec center as reference. Oh well, I made the exit to the backyard in the basketball area, like the one in the current rec center, removed this door, and recolored some blocks to better match the lighting. Now I needed to make a hole where the old merch booth used to be, to reach the new area, which I actually still had to measure. I consider myself to be a fairly precise person, so I wanted to build everything with proper proportions. Since I can't use the maker pen nor fly in the original rec center, I improvised the technique to be as accurate as possible. I used the green screen feature of the streamer cam, set at 10 meters, to understand the various distances, and a bottle of bubbly to mark my previous measurement. This new area of the rec center was a little triggering for me, since almost no wall, except for the corridor, was parallel or perpendicular to the rest of the building. I reluctantly decided to build everything placing blocks diagonally, even though it felt like building in Minecraft instead of Lego. By the way, have you ever noticed this window is missing a piece? Anyway, I finished the room and began building the wall outside, the one around the backyard. And obviously, around the new area, the wall is not straight. I really tried to make everything as smooth as possible, believe me. I added some decorations like furniture and plants. I even recolored the ring bell with a piano note, so that it plays a sound if you step on it. The cafeteria was still pretty empty, so I added details. Same goes for the mirror area, where I built some 3D posters representing the Rec Room quests and the carpet. Then I made the huge Rec Room logo in the center of the room. And lastly, I planted some trees around the whole building. I hope you got to this point, because here's the final result. If there's anything this project has taught me, is to compromise. You can't expect everything to be exactly like you want. Sometimes you need to make choices, and I am pretty happy with the ones I made. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.